Hey guys, how are you doing? And welcome back to another income report video. So as usual, we're going to be looking at this October's KDP results selling low and medium content books in 2025. For anyone new here, I started publishing at the end of 2019, so it has been a while, and there have been some ups and downs in the last couple of years, mainly downs actually this year, but there have been many changes that have occurred over Amazon, not just over the last couple of years, but obviously every year they make different changes, whether that's their rules or their algorithm. So it's worth being prepared for that. Fortunately, the last quarter of the year tends to be the most profitable for publishers or people on Amazon in general who are selling. So that's something to look forward to. For me, though, December in particular generally vastly outperforms any other month. I am unsure what to expect this year, though, and November definitely hasn't taken off for me yet in any way. In any case, let's move on to the actual October details. So as far as October goes, while it was considerably lower than recent previous years, but I expected that, I was grateful that it was a little bit higher than September was. My ad spend was considerably down in comparison to last year in October, and while that was nice to see in some ways, obviously I spent less, no doubt it did have an impact on my royalties as well. So I just found that some ads were just not performing, and these were ads that had historically worked really well for a long time, and I have found that recently since some of the changes on Amazon. But what I did recently is I've actually gone back in and I've clicked to check every ad I've ever done and then checked the lifetime ACOS against them, and then I've gone in and I've switched back on a whole bunch of ads that had an overall decent ACOS over time. And I tend to do that at least once a year or so, just to shake things up a bit and see if I can get some previous good sellers moving again. So obviously it's a little bit of a risk because I have switched on a lot of different ads at the same time. So you obviously have to monitor it in case some are really overspending. But sometimes you will get the odd ad that then will start working again. And it might be with books that you hadn't really been selling via advertising for a while. As far as Halloween themed books, I don't really have any specifically that are selling. I had one activity book a long time ago and that doesn't sell now. But I do have some books that are more like planners and journals that are probably still bought this time of year because of the theme. But nevertheless, October sales for me have usually been similar volume wise to September, and that was the same this year too. So some books that I published in October and also towards the end of September have sold quite well considering. A new journal that I published sold 18 copies in October across the UK and the USA, with 6 of those being from ads and the rest were organic sales. And then another planner sold 5 copies without ads, and that's because it had a swear word on, so I cannot run ads to that book. And similarly, there was another one that sold 3 copies without ads. So considering they have just come out and they don't have any reviews, and some of those I can't run ads to, that's a fairly good sign that they might start selling more in November and over Q4 in general. I've only just today set up an ad for a couple of other new planners that I've got that don't have swear words on, so I will see if any of those start to sell. So in October, before ad spend and expenses, I made $4,267, and the highest day was right at the start of October where I made $453, the lowest day being $62, and then there was another day of $200, and you can see that there are quite a few days around the $200 mark, and some really low ones as well. So it's been up and down, and a lot less than last October, which I'll show you in a bit. And this is what I made in the different countries. So obviously the top 2 are the UK and the United States. I made slightly more in the UK. I think that's by a couple of $100s, but they're very similar. I've always made slightly more in the UK, but since they added the VAT and I've had to change my prices, that has made quite a big impact. So I'm kind of surprised in a way that it's still higher than the US. But as you can see as well, Canada's the third highest with $700, Australia being $240, and then it really drops off a lot. I have been considering more recently publishing in Germany and getting some of the books translated. That's something I've been thinking about for a long time. I think that's something I'm going to look at in the new year. But let me know if you've had any success publishing in other languages and focusing on other platforms. But Germany definitely has a very big customer base. There must be some untapped opportunity there. So this was my income in 2024. So it was $6,933 in October, but the ad spend was considerably higher. I think it was about $1,100 or $1,200 to my recollection. Just to show you here, this was the ad spend this year. So this year it was $655. As I said, I have gone and switched on a whole bunch of ads now, and I will see if that makes any difference or if I can keep any of them running, because I had paused quite a lot of ads. Nevertheless, the ad spend was 655. I thought it was over 700 when I looked a couple of days ago. This was on Publisher Champ, so maybe once all the ads have kind of gone through and finalized, it changes. So it's slightly less than I thought. So $655, and the ACOS was 21.95%, which is absolutely fine. That's across all platforms combined as an overall average. So therefore, the profit overall was $3,609. I have both up and downgraded my tools recently. I've upgraded Midjourney again to the $60 version because I have upped the amount of AI videos that I've been creating recently, and I had no choice but to upgrade to the highest subscription. That's just $60 on its own. The main AI tools I've been using recently include Ideogram and then Canva AI tools plus ChatGPT and Midjourney. Those are the main ones that I've been using recently. Let me know how Q4 has started for you, and if you've had any surprises in comparison to previous years, or maybe this is your first ever year on KDP. If it is, then let me know. Obviously, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments and I'll try and get back to you as soon as I can. Also, as you may know, I recently started a Substack. I've done a bit of an October debrief over there, which includes assessing what has gone well on the whole and whether I've reached my goals, what books were published, as well as talking about some other projects that I'm working on outside of KDP. I'm also going to be sharing my goals for the month of November. Basically, it's an audio chat, and it's a format I'm very much gravitating towards at the moment. So if you want to join me for that chat and share your goals for next month, then by all means join me there. The link for the Substack is in the comments of this video and also the description. And it is completely free to sign up. But that is all for now. So thank you very much for watching, and I will speak to you again very soon.